welcome to what is going to be a very special episode of Get Out of Rap TV, love themed at all. Now, once again, I mentioned GOOWx. I've absolutely just taken from TEDx, and I'm really, really, really pleased to say that the first up, and it's not about setting the bar low. I've just taken, sorry. I've got a video for you as well. Here we go. It's the one and only, everybody, Clayton. Hello, mate.
Thanks for that. That was a nice intro. Thanks, Martin.
Oh well, and I took your joke.
I know. I was going to say that you suggested I come on the first X so that I can set the bar really low, and then everyone from here on out will look amazing.
Boiled. I'd have got away from it if it wasn't for you pesky kids. But we're very, very lucky, and Clayton, thank you so much. We're very lucky that Clayton is now he's going to be the first up. So well done, sir. I do not like the name that you've chosen, though. You are, of course, the founder and owner of the Growth Crew, leadership experts. But I do not like the second part of your thing there. You're going to set us all off again.
Well, the debate started last week when you said football is better than rugby. So as a South African, I can talk about rugby all day. I don't know if you know that, but I won't do it. But
that isn't the topic of your little 10 minutes, is it?
It could be.
Choose rugby, says Danny. And yes, Morris, absolutely. You will be up, sir. But I'm now gonna leave the studio in the very capable hands of everybody's favorite and football loving Clayton. Over to you.
Mate. Is that Spurs? Good morning, everybody. Thanks, Martin, for suggesting I take the first X, as you so stole from TEDx. I hope I'm on the right track. So I'm going to talk for maybe 10 minutes on, obviously, rugby. No, I'm joking. I will be talking about leadership. I want to start with a quote from a very cool leadership author called Kevin Murray. If you haven't heard of him, he writes amazing leadership books. One of the books is called Charismatic Leadership. And in that book, he says, as leaders, we get things done through others. So the more we involve them in our plans, our culture, and our way of doing things, the more likely we are to succeed. So what a lovely quote. And no matter where you are in the contact center world as a leader, if you're a team leader or the CEO or an ops director, we'd all absolutely love to receive discretionary effort from our people. That is when they go above and beyond what we ask of them because they want to, not because they have to. Now, they do this obviously for the benefit of the organization and the benefit of the team, but they do it because of the leader that's created the environment that they feel a part of and they want to do things for. So for a leader to receive discretionary effort, people need to be really, really comfortable around you. There needs to be a very high level of trust. And I'm happy to announce that that doesn't cost any money to get that to happen. As any leader in the contact center world, we just need to understand how vitally important the role is that we play. We play a very important role in how people feel and see themselves at work, how valuable people feel at work, how much they feel part of something, and how much we care about all of this as a leader. So today I want to talk about two quick things. Number one, we have a primal need to belong as human beings. And number two, leadership motivation. So first of all, we have a primal need to belong. In fact, when we belong to something, it brings out the best in us. Our bodies produce all the feel-good hormones when it feels that we're fitting in and we belong to something. We're more understanding, we're more open, we're more trusting, we're more willing to give the other person a chance, we're more willing to jump in and do stuff for each other when we feel like we belong. Now, as leaders, we play an incredibly important role in creating that environment by building meaning behind what people do so that what they do matters and they feel part of something so that we get that level of openness from them, of trust from them, of understanding from them, of willing to jump in from them. So As leaders, there's lots of ways we can do this. We can focus on the game plan, be great communicators. Where's the company headed? Share what the purpose is, why we're all here. You can literally tell every individual person in your team how valuable their contribution is. But I want to talk about two things unintentionally as leaders we very often don't do. Number one, filling in the backstory. As leaders in a contact center, no matter where you are, you know more. You're more privy to why one campaign is picked over another campaign, why we do one system, why we use one system instead of another system, why we use one process instead of a different process, what the numbers are. As leaders, use what you know to fill in the backstory and connect everybody. Because when you connect everybody, they belong, and we just spoke about it brings out the best in them. So, for example, if there's a new campaign running, right? Fill in the backstory as to why this campaign is running, what the outcome is going to be, and the important role everyone plays. For example, I'm hypothetical here, so there might not be this campaign, but imagine you're in the contact center. So I'm telling you as the leader of the contact center that we're running a new campaign. It's a low-level, affordable add-on for all our existing customer base. We're launching this not as a moneymaker, but as a retention strategy to keep our customers, because if you look at the last 2 years of stats, we've been losing customers. They're not renewing with us. This is an attempt for us to get customers to stay with us, to add value to their existing product, and get them to find how valuable we are, to stay with us. So we increase the lifetime value of every single customer. And here's the important role you play in all of this. You're going to be the one communicating how valuable this part of the product is to our customers. So what I mean there is filling in the backstory. If there's changes happening in the company, we don't just say things like, guys, there's changes happening, because inevitably people will dig their heels in for self-preservation. Better the devil you know than the devil you don't. But if we use the backstory, we can also communicate changes by saying something like, team, we've got some decisions to make, and here's why. Boom, backstory. So the backstory for leaders is very, very important for us to connect people. The second thing under the primal need to belong is closing the loop. When we as leaders unintentionally don't close the loop, we leave our people wondering. When they wonder, it's distracting and it hinders their performance because they're forced to close the loop themselves. For example, if someone comes to you with an idea and you as a leader never give them feedback, you're forcing them to close the loop and wonder why. Wonder if the idea was any good at all. The idea was stupid. Should they bring you another idea ever again? They slowly start disconnecting from you emotionally, which means they don't feel that sense of belonging, all because the loop wasn't closed. Another example is an unsuccessful job interview internally, and we don't give that person feedback as to why they were not successful. As leaders, we're allowing them to close the loop themselves, where their thoughts can run away with them and they can think to themselves, they doubt their ability, they're not good enough, this is not the right place for them. And again, they emotionally distract or detach themselves from the company, which means, and from you, the leader, which means they're not going to be at their best and they don't feel they belong. Another example is running a survey and never sharing the results. You're not closing the loop as to what the results were and where to from here. Or for example, if you say to all the team leaders, guys, we've organized training for you, please be there on Tuesday. Why training? If we don't close the loop as to why there's training, our team leaders are left thinking, why are we getting training? Are we not performing up to standard? No one's told us we're not performing well. What's going on? Are they looking for different levels of performance from us? So they slowly start detaching from the company too, and just by us not closing the loop. So you guys will know our brains are constantly calibrating social events and social interactions that we have on a daily basis. And if we don't close the loop, we are allowing our team to close the loop, which is very distracting because they mull over those thoughts and it hinders them from performing at their best. So that's what I want to talk about when I talk about the primal need to belong. I'll quickly share a story. I know I shared it on a couple of weeks ago, but cricket, right? I know I say choose rugby, but 2018, Australia were touring South Africa in cricket. And on the third day of the test match in Cape Town, one of the Australian cricketers was found with sandpaper in his pocket, Cameron Bancroft, and he was manipulating the ball so it could swing more, cheating, right? Now, at first, all the cameras were on him. The cameras could see that he threw the little piece of sandpaper away. And eventually, it was found out that the captain Steve Smith and the vice captain, David Warner, that Cameron Bancroft was actually under instruction from them to do what he did. And when they asked him after the test match or after that day, why did he do it? He simply said, I wanted to fit in. He would break the rules to fit in, that primal need to belong. As leaders, we play an incredibly important part in closing, in bringing that organization, or creating that sense of belonging for our people. The last thing I want to talk about really quickly is leadership motivation, your own personal motivation, because as leaders in the contact center, wherever you are, again, designation doesn't matter, CEO to ops director to team leader, sometimes things get tough. Sometimes things feel too much. The walls are closing in, and that flame that's inside you is starting to burn a little bit dimmer. Your motivation is decreasing. To increase that flame again, to burn that flame really bright, is to remind yourself why you're a leader in the first place, that you make choices, you can make choices, and also you have an opportunity and the responsibility that you play a really important role in everybody's lives. You can impact people's lives in a very positive way. No matter how small or long that interaction is, you have the opportunity to change people's lives every single interaction you're in a contact center world. Great leaders have the ability to inspire others to do great things themselves. Ask yourself this question: what impact does me being a leader have on those people around me? I'll say it again. What impact does me being a leader have on those people around me? And use that question as your motivator to help you always understand that your impact could be positive and long-lasting. Because your role in the contact center world as a leader, no matter where your designation, is that you play a vitally important role in how people feel about work, how they see themselves at work, how valuable they feel when they're at work, how much they feel part of something at work, and also if what you are doing on a daily basis makes them feel that you care. So as a leader, to use your own to motivate yourself, remember that question: what impact does me being a leader have on those around me? Because you have the opportunity as a leader, no matter if you have one person or 20 people in your team, you have the opportunity to take people where they want to go. You have the opportunity to help them get to where they're headed. Or even better, you have the opportunity to help them get to where they never thought was possible for them to get. And that's me. That's what I wanted to talk about today, was the primal need to belong. Backstory, fill in the backstory as leaders. Often we don't use that power. Also, closing the loop. Don't leave your people wondering. And then leadership motivation. Remember the massive opportunity you have. Thank you.
Wow, Clayton, thank you so much. That talk about this is where you've said it now. that was brilliant. That was great. Thank you so much. I think you probably couldn't see me backstage. I'm just nodding away, loving just how you've brought all that together. Let's just see a couple of comments that came in. Morris says, as a CX leader, I used to say, if you get out of the way of your customers and colleagues, they will build you a better organization, because what they want to engage with. Very true. And Nick says, closing the loop, vital to keeping engaged. I love that. I love that kind of, you can't communicate enough, can you, is what you're saying about campaigns, because people will fill in the gaps. Good morning, HE. You came just at the right time, because Clayton's just delivered a brilliant one there. Danny says, love this. We don't always realize how much influence our work and our leaders make to our life. And that's your final point, Clayton, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You know, we often look for all these silver bullets as leaders to better our own lives and make things easier for ourselves. But in fact, our silver bullet is right in front of us. It's our people. And if we spend time creating that sense of belonging so that they are more open, more trusting, more understanding, more willing to go in and to go the extra mile, that is our silver bullet. That will make our lives easier.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, very simple.
There's a fabulous study, says Danny, on employee engagement, which shows a direct causal link between between belonging at work and an increased likelihood to put the bins out for the neighbours, to volunteer time for charity, to speak to strangers at bus stops. Generally just being a nicer person, albeit the last one, Danny, you speak to strangers at bus stops.
But that is so true. You know, if you find, just as, for example, at Christmas time, when all the family's around. And the party on Saturday, Martin, your party, you were speaking about cousins you haven't seen for a long time, family. There was a real sense of belonging because everyone was there for the same reason. And you would have found that at your party, people were more willing to open the door for someone else. Let someone else go first. Buy a drink for someone else. I'll get this. And help this. I'll carry you to the car. People are more willing to do that, just as Danny's saying here, when there is that sense of belonging.
So true. Darren, this was great. Thanks, Clayton. Helen, this is great. Always think of it in terms of the shadow the leader casts. Oh, there you go. Look.
Yeah, that must be Luca. He's a
South
African. Yeah.
I love the question to ask ourselves, says Aman. And what does my impact as a leader mean to them? Yeah, it's brilliant. Clayton, thank you so much. What a great way to start doing GOOWx. Despite your little kind of title, choosing rugby, I can't thank you enough. It was a brilliant way to start. I think you've given us in 10 minutes so much value and so much to think about. You're an awesome human being and a genuine expert in leadership. So thank you very much.
No, thanks to you, Martin, for the opportunity, suggesting this, and also for giving people like me the platform to talk about what we like, so what we're passionate about. I really appreciate that. That means a lot.
No problem, mate. Have a lovely rest of the day.
Goodbye.
Cheers. Wow, that was great, wasn't it? Let me just, in the time we have left, thank you so much, Clayton, and for all your interaction. I think